Hey everyone, how's it going? Hope you're doing okay. Welcome back to another video and another project. So this one today is going to be a true test of my woodworking skills that I've developed over the last couple of years, I guess you could say. Now, I need a wooden mallet. Got lots of hammers, but as a woodworker, don't have a wooden mallet. So I'm going to make one. I could spend £15, but what's the point? It's boring, isn't it? What am I going to do? Welcome to another video. Here's a hammer I bought. Bye. It's not fun, is it? So yeah, like I said, I'm going to make one. I'm just going to make any hammer though. Fingers crossed I'm worthy enough. But I'm going to try and make Mjolnir or Thor's hammer. Now, to make a wooden mallet, I know I can't just do my usual and use like reclaimed pallet wood to do it. If you've seen any of my other videos, you know I'm a big fan of using like pallet wood and reclaimed materials. But I think I've got suitable pieces, I guess. So the handle is going to be this old baluster. It's not old, it's just been unused. It's been sitting in my shed for about 5 years. Pretty sure it's hardwood. I mean, it feels hard enough to do the job.
That's what she said.
I'm pretty sure you can tell because of the grain and how close it is. I don't know, I could be completely wrong, I probably am. The head, this bit of hardwood. So, yeah, I mean, I could probably make Stormbreaker, but I'm getting way ahead of myself, so I'll stick to Thor's hammer. I mean, even that is complicated. I'm going to have to cut this into different sections to laminate it. The handle is going to have a pommel that needs carving, the handle design, the angles and the shapes and the design of the actual hammerhead itself is intricate. So yeah, it's going to be a real test of everything I've learned over the last kind of few years, I guess. So yeah, without further ado, let's crack on. Right, so just a quick pause before we do get started actually. The size of it. Just want to clear a few things up. So obviously this isn't going to be to scale because the real thing is bloody huge. And obviously I've only got a finite amount of wood to play with. So I've got to avoid knots and stuff. So I'm probably only going to get something that's no bigger than kind of that. I'd say 20 to 25 centimetres. This thing's going to be more like a half scale Mjolnir, I guess. But big enough to do everything I need to do with it. So the first place we're going to come to is the table store and we'll get ripping and see what we can pull out of this piece of wood. Right, so that's some of the table sawing done. Obviously to work on the final length at the end. But unfortunately my table saw blade wasn't tall enough. So I'm kind of left with, I don't know if you can see, kind of slightly kind of raised bits. Ever so slightly, it's like a millimetre. I could sand it, but yeah, it'll be a lot of back and forth. So just got my servicing jig out. We're just going to take off those raised bits with a router. Might be a little bit of sanding just to kind of work it in together and get it nice and flush and flat. I mean, some of it's perfectly fine. Some of it's perfectly fine. Meets up, absolutely fine, no problems. But yeah, just do a bit of finishing. I won't bore you with it all, so I'll show you a few clips, but yeah, I'll talk to you again when it's done. So that's all of our pieces fitted up. They all fit real nice together, nice and flush. The glue up will be solid. The next thing then is to kind of start to fit the handle to the profile. So I'll get it cut down to like a rough length I want it anyway. I'll do a bit of messing with that, see how kind of long I want it. And then obviously the part that's going to attach to the different sections of the hammer, I guess you could call it, I'm going to need to work out firstly the thickness, because obviously it needs to sit between two these hammerhead sections. However, this sits like the actual handle sits a little proud, so I'm going to need to kind of take that back a bit. Probably do that with a bit of sanding, to be honest, a bit of chiseling away. So before we move on and start getting on with it, I also need to work out the kind of angle that obviously it's going to sit at. So the glue up's going to be more than enough, but because it's a hammer and the impact is going to kind of have over the years, I want to make sure I do this properly. So yeah, let's get started with that. Correction. I forgot one thing. Before I start figuring out the angle and the handle fit, these aren't even finished. They aren't even cut to size. So I'm going to cut a handle to size on a piece of wood that's not even the size that it's going to be when it's finished. So I should always double check. Right, so I managed to rough out where I need to kind of sand and I don't need to sand. So the pommel and obviously the part that joins the actual head itself. It's just occurred to me, I don't actually have a rasp. I do woodworking and I don't have a rasp. Anyway, but for now, I'm going to use my multi-tool with the sander attachment. I've got a 60 grit sandpaper, so I'll try and hog off what I can with it. Yeah, we'll see how we go. Right, so scrapping the multi-tool idea. It's going to take way too long. It's going to work really well as like a finishing sander, actually, until I get the main shape, but that's just going to take forever. So, got a hammer and chisel. Hopefully gets us most of the way there. I'll probably start to then kind of shape the pommel in and where the handle meets the head, and then take the bulk of the material out of the middle to start shaping to get the rough shape of the handle in. So yeah, I'll report back when I'm most of the way there, I guess. That was hard work. I mean, for hand sanding, that's not half bad, I think. It's round, I can grip onto it. It's a handle. There's a couple of nicks here and there, but what do you expect? I mean, I don't have a wood turning lathe, I don't have a belt sander. Like, it's quite difficult doing this by hand, trust me. But I think we got there. So now I'm going to get on to fitting up the head with the handle. I was going to obviously cut the angle in here, but I've decided against that actually, because I'm going to wedge it anyway. It's going to push those top edges out and grip onto it nice and tight. It'll just allow at the bottom for a much like flusher fit. I won't have to worry about all these different pieces of wood kind of not fitting up, and it's just more hassle as well. I think it'll still be plenty strong. The two pieces I have here, obviously we'll need splitting in two to go either side, because like I said, it's been laminated. Measure what I need on the edges, cut it all to size, start to then fit the other pieces around it, and start to hopefully get the head to the size it needs to be. So yeah, let's go. Right, so the hammer itself is going to be from front to back, or length, let's say 24 centimeters. So I need, what do I need? So if I measure, so what my plan is then is to measure this against this, obviously get the size of each edge, cut it out of the longer panels that I've got, and that should give me the perfect, I guess, width from here to make up the rest of the hammer. So yeah, quite complicated, but we're getting there. Right, so all in all, I think that went pretty well. A few gaps here and there, but we'll make up some other wood filler, I think, to sort those out. What I'm going to do now, then, is so I know what kind of, I guess, the face of the hammerhead looks like. I'm going to cut the kind of, I guess, the length, width, whichever you want to call it, this way to size on the table saw, and after that, like I say, get that wood filler made up, fill in any gaps we've got, hammer in our wedge, and then leave that all to dry. And hopefully then we can move on to some of the detailing finally. So yeah, let's get moving. Right, and so now we're all glued up, it's time to get back on the table saw, just to kind of really try and get as close to the final shape as we can, I guess. Now, I've been thinking about it a bit, and it would be nice if it was a little bit thicker, but it is what it is. This is what we've got to work with. So I'm going to start cutting in the angle kind of profiles to really kind of, like I say, start shaping up the head. But first we need a nice kind of straight surface to work off of. So I'm going to take the top of the hammer, I'll through the table saw, try and get a nice, clean, straight surface to work from. So yeah, let's get cracking. Okay, we are on the home stretch, I think. So you see I've got it in the vise here. What I'm going to do now is start shaping the pommel, get the sandpaper, start kind of really bring out the grain in the wood and the handle and trying to get it a bit kind of more, I guess, cylindrical. And then we'll slowly start working our way towards the actual hammerhead itself. And start, like I say, really kind of going through the grits, kind of really getting the nice wood grain to pop. And then we'll get onto some finishing. So next time I join you, fingers crossed, I've got a hammer. So yeah, let's do it. So there we have it, one wooden mallet in the shape of Mjolnir. This was such good fun. Like I said at the start, like this was all meant to be like a combination of 2 years of kind of work and building up my skills and developing my kind of woodworking ability, I guess, just to see if I could turn out kind of solid, clean pieces like this from my own little shed or workshop. And hopefully kind of the video was nice and easy enough for you to follow. Maybe inspires you to kind of get into your own sheds and give something, you go start a little project. I mean, I have a family, I work full time. All these tools and the equipment I have has taken 2 years of saving and begging family members at Christmas and birthdays for the gifts I want. And yeah, I'm massively satisfied with what I've managed to kind of turn out. I decided not to go with all like the intricacies and the detail because this is an actual woodworking mallet. I'm going to use this to make stuff. I'm not just going to hang it in the background of a video for everyone to kind of look at and look pretty. It's going to get hammered, as it were. So if you did like the video, please leave a like. I'd greatly appreciate it. Hopefully you'll join me for my next one. I mean, this has definitely proven my need for a shop stall, and if you haven't guessed it by now, like, I'm not going to buy one, so I'm going to make one, probably out of pallet wood. So hopefully you'll join me for that. But until then, thank you very, very much for watching, and yeah, I'll see you in the next one.